Hey guys, DJ EJ here for Girls Night In virtual classes, and we are on site at Barracadas, and standing beside me is Chef Paul Smith. Chef, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great. Before we get started with today's virtual class, please note that all of our proceeds of Girls Night In go towards the Resolve Family Abuse Program. So right here beside me is what we're giving away during this virtual class. Inside of here, we have a lot of awesome themed items and also $100 Kroger gift cards. So Chef, I see you prepared a very beautiful dish for us today. Can you tell us what's going on here and what we have?
Yeah, thanks. So we have a local heirloom tomato and lemon J.Q. Dickinson ricotta salad. All the tomatoes are local, Grits Farms, New Root Farms. We're gonna get in the kitchen. We're gonna make our fresh ricotta with our lemons, dress our vinaigrette with our mother shrub vinegar, and then come out and enjoy. So thanks again for having me.
All right, can we get back to the kitchen?
Absolutely.
Let's check it out.
We're here in the kitchen. We're getting ready to do our fresh ricotta cheese. It is made with, we're gonna do it lemon because that's the theme. So we'll do a little bit of our local, actually this milk is from Pomeroy, Ohio. It's the Snowville Creamery, very nice. It's from grass-fed beef. So I'm gonna add about a half a gallon of milk. I've already heated up a little bit to kind of get this process going faster. But what we're gonna do is heat it up to about 180 degrees, which is kind of right when you'll see those little wisps of smoke kind of coming off the top. I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit. We're gonna add a little bit of our J.Q. Dickinson salt. Then we have probably top 5 or 10 salts in the world. So it's an awesome feather in our cap as West Virginians. So we're gonna add about a tablespoon of salt. Another part of the salt making process is that liquid that comes off of the salt. So J.Q. Dickinson also has Nagari. Now Nagari is a super bitter, super salty liquid. It has a lot of minerals, a lot of different properties. It actually works really well if you are overserved the next day. Take a shot of it in some water. It kind of, supposedly, Dr. Dickinson says it is a hangover cure. Now, not that I've ever been overserved, but I have tried it. It's pretty delicious. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add this. So this, in the cheese making process, this is what's gonna separate those curds from the whey. So it is gonna curdle the cheese and kind of create those little soft, creamy curds that are the ricotta. So what I'm gonna do first, since it is the lemon theme, is we will use a microplane or a zester, and we will get this zest. And basically you just kind of rock back and forth. As you can see, we're just getting the top layer. Now you don't wanna go, once you see the white, you don't wanna go down any further because the white or that pith is very bitter. All of that great flavor, man, it smells awesome, comes right out of that zest. So we're just gonna go right through. I'm gonna put these aside. Now, when you're doing this cheese, we're bringing it up slowly. As you see that wisp of smoke coming up, that means it's about right at that temperature, about 180, 185 degrees. So I'm gonna shut it off and I'm gonna add the Nagari to it. We're gonna add about a tablespoon. And as soon as we add it, this is going to start curdling. It's going to start separating those curds and the whey. So I'm going to add a tablespoon, maybe a touch more just to be safe. You want to use a slotted spoon or a spoon with holes in it. And I'm going to put this aside. And you can instantly see that cheese is actually, I mean, it's almost instantaneous. So what this is doing is it's separating. And if you can see that on here, I mean, it is really, there you go. So what we're doing is we're separating the whey or that milk water and the curds from, and just making cheese basically. So we got our cheesecloth ready to go. This is one of those things in the kitchen too. You got to have your mise en place set up. So you gotta have everything in its place so you can just grab it and have it ready, because sometimes you never know what the next step is. So I've got my trusty ladle here. We're gonna ladle this. We're draining it through this cheesecloth, which is what's used to make cheese. So I'm gonna set this aside. We're gonna let that drain. Then we're gonna go on, we're gonna make our tomato, J.Q. Dickinson lemon curd, and then we're gonna plate the salad. So we are gonna go ahead and make our vinaigrette for our salad. So we've got our fresh heirloom tomatoes, our local greens. This is another local product also. So this is the Mother Shrub vinegar. It is a friend of mine. She makes these drinking vinegars. This one is lime. Since we're doing lemon, I thought we could do lemon lime. So we're making a standard vinaigrette. So standard vinaigrette is basically two things that don't want to go together: oil and water, or oil and vinegar. So we've got the Mother Shrub vinegar, adding probably about 2 tablespoons of the Mother Shrub lime vinegar. Now, one of the things is we need to have something that kind of is an emulsifier or brings these two things together, since they want to separate. So what we have is just a little bit of Dijon mustard. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then we will use this to kind of go, and you really only need about a teaspoon. All right, so we've added our Dijon mustard. So the Dijon mustard is the emulsifier. So it's what's going to help be the binder between the vinegar and the oil. So you could really use, mustard powder. You could use Dijon. You could use yellow mustard if you want to. I don't normally really condone the yellow mustard, only because it is a little bitter. The only one I wouldn't use is a whole grain mustard, because those whole grains will kind of not allow for the two things to emulsify together. So while that is kind of sitting, dissolving a little bit, I'll show you a little trick on, this is a shallot. So we're gonna add a little bit of aromatics to this. So we've got just a shallot. Now, when you're picking out shallots, you want them to be a little firm, and you don't want the skin to be really falling off of it. So we've got a shallot. We're just going to do about half of it. Cut so many onions. Now you've got very, very finely minced onion or shallot. So I'm going to add those to our vinaigrette. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh thyme. So you really just take it and run your finger down and take all of those nice herbs, just the little leaves right off of there. Then I'm just gonna do a couple more. Since, again, we're gonna marry these two flavors together. We've got lemon in the ricotta. We've got a little bit of lemon in our vinaigrette now. So I'm gonna do a little bit more zest. Like I said, zest is where the flavor is. But what I am gonna do is take the lemon juice out of this one. So you wanna kind of rock it just a little bit to kind of loosen up the juice in there. Cut it in half. We're gonna use about a half. And then normally what I do is I'll juice it, I'll squeeze it into my other hand. And that is allowing the juice, I'm just spreading my fingers ever so slightly apart. So what this is doing is we've used the zest, now we've used the juice, and I've captured the seed. Again, so now we've got vinegar, shallot, thyme, lemon juice. So we've got all of our liquid. Put this aside. Now what we're gonna do is drizzle in our olive oil to create that emulsion. Now you don't wanna put all your 3 times what your liquid is at one time with the olive oil. And if you're working alone, like I normally do, you can kind of take a kitchen towel. A little trick is kind of wrap it around, and this will kind of hold your bowl to where it's not gonna move. So we'll take our our olive oil, and what we're gonna do is just drizzle very, very slight stream while you're whisking at the same time. And you will see if we stop, you'll see that it's a little bit broken right now. You can kind of see the oil separating already. So we'll do it a little bit faster on the whisk. And as we add more oil, it will help that emulsify. We'll make that emulsification right now. So we're gonna go two things that didn't want to go together that are now together. Always remember too, salt and pepper. This is your friend. You know, a couple little, about I'd say a pinch of salt. Salt is one of those things that you can oversalt for sure, but salt is a flavor carrier. So on your steaks, on your chicken, in your vinaigrette, on your greens, everything doesn't come seasoned. So you want to make sure to season it properly, but think about it as a component of a dish. So you don't want to over season to the point where that first bite might be like, ooh, this is delicious. Think about the third or fourth bite down the road. Make sure everything is balanced. So we'll just do a couple of cracks of this nice black pepper. Finish this up. All right, so we'll put our vinaigrette aside, get our cutting board and our knife nice and cleaned off. Then we're gonna go ahead and slice our tomatoes. So basically, I've already washed the tomatoes off. These are from Grits. I'm gonna slice these nice and thin. And really, we're just doing a couple salads, so you don't need to go too crazy. Couple slices of the yellow. Couple slices of our red heirloom, again from Grits. See that? The other good thing about the heirlooms is they have a lot more flesh to seed ratio. Then we're going to take our cherries from New Root in Fayetteville. This will add a little bit of color contrast. It will also add a little bit of that. You know, these are nice slices, add a little different texture. And really, we're just cutting these in half. How beautiful are those things? Those are awesome. We've got some yellow. We've got some red Cherokees. And then just to jazz it up a little bit, I brought a watermelon radish. So this is a radish that kind of looks like a watermelon. So we're just gonna kind of peel the outside a little bit. I'm gonna use about half of it. And this is gonna add a little bit of bite, but it's also gonna add a really cool color to it as well. So we'll just slice this super thin. Then we'll get our cheese. We'll get our tomatoes, our radish, and our vinaigrette. We'll add a little bit of fresh basil to it, and we'll plate our salad. So we've got everything together now. I want to show you how the cheese turned out. So I've taken it out, kind of flipped it right out, and so now we've got this nice, wonderful, warm ricotta cheese. And so what we're going to do is do a couple of different plates. So I've got two. We're going to do a couple of take our nice ricotta. We're going to take our tomatoes. And really, you can kind of plate this however you want. What I'm going to do is do two different ways. So one straight. And one square. I'm going to go ahead and dress. I'm going to dress the greens with our vinaigrette. I'm also going to dress our cherry tomatoes. Now, don't overdress your greens. You can always add more. I'm going to add just a touch of J.Q. Dickinson salt to pretty much everything, just to finish. Toss this. Just be very gentle with the lettuce. You want to get a little bit of height on both. We've got our fresh basil as well. I'm going to toss our tomatoes. Finish up with our chunks of our fresh ricotta cheese. Finish up with our couple of nice heirloom cherry tomatoes. Garnish with a couple of our, nice watermelon radishes. Finish it off with a couple of nice ripped pieces of basil. Take a couple of the nice tops. Finish it up with a little bit of garnish there. And then when we're done, just going to drizzle a touch of our Villa di Trapano olive oil on there. And just a touch of our vinaigrette right on the plate, just in case you want a little bit more. Make sure we wipe down our plates really well. And there we go. We've got our fresh lemon J.Q. Dickinson ricotta cheese, our heirloom tomatoes, local lettuce, our mother shrub lemon vinegar vinaigrette, and a couple of watermelon radishes. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks for joining us. Don't forget to donate and come into any of my restaurants and you can have this salad. Take care. Thanks.